How about the leaking of classified information to the Washington Post?
Oh, boy. So the investigation when it was going on was classified secret, no foreign. So it was classified secret, which meant that if any of it was to be leaked, it would cause grave danger to the United States because of the size of the blast, the damage it had caused, how the sailors had been killed. All that was classified. No foreign means that we're not even going to share this outside of the U.S. government, not even with our closest allies. And so when that investigation worked its way up through the chain and the officer that completed it then turned it over to the Fifth Fleet commander, he would make what they call the first endorsement on it before he would send it back to the United States to the commander-in-chief of the Atlantic Fleet, who'd be the next investigation. That investigation was sent, and 2 days later, large pieces of that investigation appeared in the Washington Post. And at that point in time, I knew I'm being set up because this gets out and gets leaked to the Washington Post with the level of fidelity that was in it. And thank goodness I had a Naval Academy classmate that was a public affairs officer to the chief of naval operations. And I basically expressed to him, if this is how the Navy handles classified information, no wonder 17 of my sailors are now dead with a hole in the side of my ship, because you can't even keep that information away from terrorists. Of course, they're going like, oh, that is not how this is supposed to work. Hey, take a deep breath here. And I'm like, no, this is a setup. This leak is designed in order to put me on the hot plate and frame it in the eyes of the American public that I'm to blame for allowing this attack to happen. And I wasn't about to brook that. And I basically said, you can either figure out how to stop the leaks or my press conference that I'm going to hold. And oh, by the way, you kind of learn how to play hardball. If you're going to do a report where you don't want the American public to pay attention to it, you release it on a Friday evening. Just watch that in politics sometime here in Washington.
Very common.
Yep. And so consequently, when do you want to release a report? Bright and early Monday morning, because then it gets to bounce all week long as people learn about it and the press starts to question what's really happening. And they basically said, we will get this stopped. And to the Navy's credit, the leaks did stop. But it was that initial, and I don't know who it was, and I've never put my finger on it. I have my own personal suspicions that I'll keep close to my vest. But the reality of it is the leaks stopped, which to me was the most important thing, because I did not want any of that bad press to reflect on the heroism of my crew. Because the way I looked at it is, hey, if you want someone accountable, there's one accountable officer on board a Navy ship, and that's the captain, period. And that accountable officer was me. If you want responsibility for what happened, hey, that's a bearded guy that we hunted down to Abbottabad, Pakistan, shot in the face, stuffed in a body bag with weight, and he's now in the middle of the ocean. And if you want blame, that was two suicide bombers that blew themselves up and put themselves in little pieces all over the top side of my ship. So when people want to try and blame me for allowing that boat to get alongside, I'm going to give them pushback, because my crew of heroes, look, as the accountable officer, look at how they performed before, during, and after that event. That ship is still out there today defending freedom because of them. And they saved their shipmates, because that first day, Jack, we evacuated 33 wounded off the ship in 99 minutes. And of those 33, when they got into local hospitals and with a French medical team flowing in to work on them, 32 of them would survive.